You're watching Sports on Primetime. Now, tonight we're talking bodybuilding, and my guest is Bhekumuzi Maluleke, the 2017 middleweight champion from the Arnold Classic that happened in Sandton over the past weekend. Muzi, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me, sir.
Right, you got the ultimate acclaim for bodybuilder, Arnie. You won his award. Tell us about that. That must have been quite a head rush for you.
Yeah, definitely, sir. I would say it's been a prestigious event in the sense that bringing the whole event to Africa and exposing the whole sport to the generation, the upcoming generation, as well as Africa as a whole. It's been an awesome event. So from my perspective, if there's one thing we're trying to do as bodybuilders is to aspire to inspire the people through the sport, I must say. Yes, sir.
Right, and it was a good setup there in Sandton, the Arnold Classic. It promotes healthy living. Arnold Schwarzenegger very much promoting that. What did you learn out of that whole experience?
I would say the one take home from Arnold himself, it's the whole thing of you are never a self-made man. In the sense that each and every time within the sport, within life itself, there's always people who are the driving force behind you. Mm-hmm. And everyone gets to see you when you shine, but they don't necessarily see other people. But it's always how can I put it, a group effort in as much as it is in the real sport.
Right, well, your chosen sport is all about commitment and dedication. Just give us a bit of a insight into how long are the hours that you put in every day, I take it.
No, I would say it's quite intense in the sense that you need a lot of discipline as well as a lot of dedication. So you must, I would say one thing, mostly you need to stay hungry. Mm-hmm. In the sense that we train 2 times a day, cardiovascular as well as weights, and then we still have to pose for about an hour as well. Mm-hmm. And then the one difficult thing, it is to sticking through with the diet, especially because we can't necessarily have unnecessary fats and sugars. And it's the whole concept and the whole science behind how the body responds to training, to nutrition, as well as to rest. It's quite an amazing journey, I would say.
Right, well, I mean, we're looking at pictures now. Explain to us the philosophy behind the posing. That's not just strutting about. That's more to present the muscles in the form that you need to.
Yeah, basically what the judges are looking for, it's all about the aesthetics, all right? So we're trying to chase this whole concept of a perfect body, but we all know that there's no form of a perfect body, but we're all chasing that concept in the sense that whenever we're on stage, the judges want to see the most well-defined athlete, however, still being the biggest in that particular lineup, and still the most vascular guy, and it's we need to still have a bit of symmetry in terms of upper body and lower body.
Okay, so basically the goal is to get symmetry.
Yeah, the goal is to get symmetry as well as be well defined, as well as whenever the judges look at you, they need to be saying that guy represents the sport.
Okay, so in terms of the well-defined parts of this, how do you get tournament ready or competition ready? What are the rigors you have to go through?
Geez, it takes about 20, a good 20 weeks to get to because we need to at least to get on stage with 4% body fat while still carrying as much muscle mass as possible.
Right.
So it's a quite intense program in the sense that you need to still we would say only 2% of the world can do this in the sense that you tend to lose fat while you grow within the process.
Right. But it's very, very specialized, and this isn't for everybody. But do you see that this could be a sport that could grow in South Africa?
Definitely bodybuilding, it's been sports that has been all year round, from the Greek till now. Everyone, each and every boy, whenever they grow up, they always want to be muscular and all that. However, it's a sport that has grown from generation to generation. And this one thing is that information is passed from one generation to the other, and we grow as a group in the sense that because we're trying to achieve this one goal of chasing the well aesthetic body while promoting a health lifestyle for the people.
Right, and you're a sports scientist at the HPC in the University of Pretoria.
Yes.
That must help you as well in your chosen pursuits. You've got the time to go to the gym, I take it.
Yeah, definitely. I would say like my sports science career as well as like bodybuilding, like they tend to feed on one another because of if like whenever I succeed in bodybuilding, I take the knowledge from sports science and apply it to bodybuilding, and always vice versa. The more I win, the more motivated I am into doing sports science. However, like the one important thing about sports science is for me to add value to upcoming generation, especially in sports. I specialize in football that side, and it's quite an amazing journey.
Right. Well, tell us more about that.
Like basically, when it comes to sports science itself, like we tend to, what we trying to do is to maximize performance through science, in the sense that we test athletes, and we don't necessarily look for weaknesses, but we look for areas of improvement while we still maintaining the strength of the athletes. So it's a great background in the sense that we tend to work with youngsters to like your Olympians. So it's a great environment while being an athlete as well, and be surrounded with other Olympians. It makes the whole environment not to even feel that you are actually going to work, but it's just a lifestyle. If I would say you don't even get a paycheck, you get a play check.
Okay, but I mean, you've got the Arnie stamp of approval, so going into the HBC with all those Olympians, that's got to give you some sort of bragging rights.
Yeah, definitely. Like, so you would say we are now at the same level, thanks to Arnie and the Arnold Classic.
Okay, I mean, I remember Arnold Schwarzenegger from the movies, but before that, he hit the big time with pumping iron and bodybuilding. What made him such a special athlete in that sense, that he really, was it because he was tall and imposing?
No. Like from his perspective, he usually says that if there's one thing that changed his life, it was for him to come to South Africa, in the sense that he met Rich Parker right here in South Africa, and it's one person who taught him most of what he knew about bodybuilding. And from there onwards, like that's how his journey was structured. And then after meeting Joy Wader, in the sense that he became 7-time Mr. Olympia, and then took it there from there onwards.
Okay, and talk to us a little bit about your organization that's been with you through your journey, Mavu Sport Development. I see it's on your T-shirt there.
Definitely. Yeah, so Mavu is an NGO. What we do is to promote sport in the grassroots, you understand? So what I'm actually there as, I'm an ambassador. So what we're trying to do is still, through bodybuilding, through any form of sport, it is to motivate kids like to do something about their lives, in the sense that it doesn't matter whether you have or not, you understand? So Mavu is there to provide the resources that the kids need, and then thereafter we can grow sports in South Africa as a whole.
Right, so we're saying that bodybuilding is something that can be even taken down to grassroots level. I expect that must be a bit of a challenge.
Yeah, it's a bit of a challenge in the sense that, like, obviously whenever you're looking at science itself, like we talk about like what is the right age where you can train children, what you try to avoid, like having growth plates closing at a much prematurely. So that's one thing we're trying to establish. However, like physical activity is supposed to be like stuff that we engage as a whole. It doesn't matter whether you're young or you're the athlete. It's one thing that each and every one of us, we need to stay active, because at the end of the day, every one of us wants to live longer.
Right, well, it's a noble cause, and thank you very much for joining us and sharing your story. Muzi, we're going to monitor your career now.
No, I really appreciate it for having me, sir.
Brilliant.